Hi everybody, my name is Gerry and this is I think it's week 13 of the weekly chat. It's amazing it's gone this far already. 13, normally an unlucky number, but hopefully not, because if you've been following along you might know it's been a hell of a busy week. Apart from setting up new company, that's coming very shortly, and also moving house. We're busy packing up in Madikwe, so we're wrapping this up. Lots to talk about today, but I'm going to start with a very strange one. It's amazing that I put up images on sites, right? So you put up on Facebook and Twitter and all of those, and you link them together, and I would put up a beautiful lion image that I think is fantastic, and you get a couple of people to like it and they comment on this. So yesterday afternoon I uploaded one, or was it this morning? Yeah, this morning I uploaded an image of Ziggy, one of my Boston Terriers, and immediately he gets 40 times more likes than any lion I've ever uploaded. Yeah, food for thought. I don't know. Go check it out. I'll put some more up of him. Cute little boy. And apparently people like him more than a lion. Anyway, no, moving on. One of the things I came to mind the last couple of days is inspiration. Because as a photographer, you go out there and you're looking for things. And for me, the last while, and I think it's because you get very busy. You get sidetracked with business and moving and packing and the whole thing. And I think the creative energy, the inspiration almost drops to zero. I mean, you pick up the camera, you go out. I went out with Grant Marcus, a friend of mine, a while ago, 2-3 days ago, and we saw a couple of great things, but it just feels like there's nothing there. You hold the camera, you point, and you look through it, but there's nothing there. The inspiration's flat. And I know for me, it's when I'm preoccupied with other things, when you've got trouble, you're fighting with people or with suppliers, or that's a whole different story. But if you're busy and you're involved with other things, I think your muse, your creative spirit, that whole thing just disappears. It's flat. And how do you get it back? What do you do when you're in that position and you don't know what and where and how? And you want to go and pick up your camera, but there's nothing there. What do you do? So I've got a couple of people's websites and photographers that I like to follow because of what they do, the images that they show and the way that they do it. The one, for example, is Hannes Lochner. I did a quick review on his book a while ago. Hannes works out of the Kalahari, and he's got a blog where every single day, Monday through Friday, he posts a picture from his travels and his doings in the park. It is phenomenal. Sometimes, very basic, normal image. Nothing mind-blowingly spectacular, but it's solid. It's always great image. It's solid, nothing, wow, gotta hit this, but it's a good image. And I think for someone like that, to post on a regular basis, Monday through Friday, is great. It just pushes him, and for me, I mean, I love that part of the world, to go and look at an image like, or to his images on his blog, that gets me going. That makes me think, oh shit, I gotta try this, or I gotta try that, and so on. Another photographer who I was introduced to recently it's a Norwegian photographer. I hope I get this right. It's Ole Jørgen Lioden. Sorry if it's wrong, but that's the name, Ole. And I got introduced to him by Jeremy, who's he was on the Great White Sharks trip with us recently. And he's done some trips with this guy. So I'm busy working, hopefully with him very soon, to do some trips for next year. But he shoots in Arctic regions, so polar bears, seals, things like this. Unbelievable. The quality of the work is phenomenal. Now, I think it's also to do with it being an unfamiliar thing for me. I don't know that area at all. So I would love to go and point my camera at some things up there. Inspiration, absolutely, because I feel the need to pick it up. There's a couple of other people as well whose work I think is fantastic, and they post on a regular basis and so on. And if you've got any interesting sites that you think could help inspire me and help inspire other people, send them through. We'll make a list and share them around, because let's face it, it's a difficult thing. Doing this all the time, well, as much as often, but when you do pick up your camera, you need to want to take pictures. You need to be inspired. So what do you do to get inspired? Whose images do you go and look at? Love to hear from you. Right, I'm going to have a quick drink, and while I'm doing that, you guys are going to have a look at a small tutorial on vignettes and how to create a very soft vignette effect in Lightroom. So, here we go. Right, in today's Lightroom tutorial, we're going to be looking at vignettes and how you can use a very soft vignette to make your wildlife images pop just that little bit. Right, we're going to start with this lioness image here. What I've done is I've just applied a square crop to this specifically for the vignetting, but it doesn't have to. You can use it on a normal layout, portrait or landscape as well. So Just a quick one. So far, what I've done, I've just touched a couple of things here. Fill light, blacks, a little bit of brightness, contrast, vibrance, and just a touch of clarity to get the image where it is now. Zoom in. Yep, nice and sharp already. Not the focus, but just in case. Right. Closing the basic. Right, for vignette, because it's an effect that you add afterwards and it's not part of your normal post-processing, it's in the effects panel down here. Click on the triangle, opens up, and there we go. Next week or so, we'll have a look at grain and how you can use that to add something else. For today, we're looking at post-crop vignetting. Right, so after I've done my crop, post-crop vignetting. So it'll add it to whatever crop I give it. Right, leave it on highlight priority for now. We'll dig into what all of this does in a later time. For now, the basics. Starting on amount, click and hold. If you click and hold this slider, you drag it to the left, it's going to add a darker vignette. Keep a look on the image there. Gets darker, all the way to maximum, which is solid circle, and all the way over to the right hand side gives you pure white. Right, very hallmark cardish. That's not what we want. Come back to center. Now we're going to go down a little bit to darken it just a little bit, maybe just stop there. Right, I'm going to give you a before and after of that, just so you can see what the post crop vignette did. This is with all my adjustments now. Look at the vignetting there. And what we need to do now is where the line comes, where the fading in of the vignette happens, we're going to just feather it out a bit. Feathering here means you're just going to blend the vignette to the non-vignetted area slightly. So click and hold. If you're bringing it down to the bottom, it makes it harder, right? Not ideal. You want to take it back to 0 and then just across a little bit, so it's faded in a little bit. Very subtle, you almost can't see it. But now let's have a look at what just the vignetting done. So we've just pushed the amount down and we've pushed the feather up to blend them in easier. This tab here, which is next to each panel, lens correction has one, details has one, this little switch here. If I click that switch, it turns this specific panel off. So the image now is the image without my vignettes. Click it back, there it is. Now what you can see, what this does is by adding this darker vignette around the image, your eye gets focused more to the center image, to the eyes and the face of the lioness, like I want it. Watch again. There's without, that's the normal without any vignettes. And that's with. So it's a very handy tool that you can use to give some bump to your images, just a little bit, but be very careful of doing that because it becomes a little bit too much. It becomes fine arty, but it becomes too much for a natural wildlife image. Nice and subtle does the trick, something like that, before and after. Vignetting, very nice to use, especially on your portraits and images where you want to focus your attention on the middle of the frame. Give it a try, and if you have questions, give me a shout. Right, that's it for today. Okay, there you go. Soft vignette, beautiful, but when overdone, it can very easily become too much, too strong. Just careful with it. Nice to use, nice to pull that accent to the middle of the image, but don't go too far with it. Right, so we've spoken a little bit about inspiration and all of this. Now, for me this week, today is Friday, so we've got weekend ahead. On Thursday next week, I'm moving back to Johannesburg, so that's the big move. When I spoke last week in the week, I thought today was going to be our last video chat from Madikwe, but that'll happen next week. I'm going to go out on Wednesday evening and possibly Thursday morning next week and film a couple of locations. Just some thoughts, some memories for me. Great thing, great place. So nice one to wrap up on. And then it's going to all start changing. So not next week, the week after is going to be the first weekly chat from our new offices. Right, it's all in the process still. We've got a launch date already. Can't tell you yet, but there's a lot of exciting stuff happening. Also with regards to the web design and how we're going to do this whole thing, if you watch us on Twitter, check out on Facebook, and website's going to start rolling out very, very shortly. I think also part of the inspiration lack for me personally with photography is that there's so many other things that it just sucks your energy away. Not me bitching and moaning about it, but just saying, right? Also, with talking about the inspiration, it's not that I'm not liking my photography. I actually love what I do. That's where yesterday afternoon when I took my camera and photographed my dogs running around the backyard, that was fantastic. It was something different. So it is an interesting one as to what gets us going, what inspires us, and all of those. What else this week? Interesting stuff on Twitter. Follow along there. Like I said in the last couple of weeks, that is the main place where the communication is going to be happening, not just from me and from Photo Africa, the new company that's starting soon as well. Twitter, beautiful, beautiful mouthpiece. Look, there's a lot of crap on there. Make no mistake. I don't care what you fed your cat. The whole world doesn't on Twitter. Tell it to someone in a private message, but there's a lot of great things. Me personally, photography, wildlife, lodges, hospitality, sport, love it. Some appropriate news things that fit in, and then that's where the conversation starts. That's how we share ideas, shares images, and we'll take it from there. So, if you're watching this on YouTube, check the link underneath. Go to Photo Africa. Underneath the embedded video on the site, you will find all the links that I've mentioned. Some of the people that inspire me. I'll have it linked to the picture of Ziggy, my Boston, because it's getting more hits than my wildlife things, which is something to check out. And yeah, and then also the video I did in the week. Are you caught in the photography matrix? Some interesting thoughts coming out on that one. Send me yours. Other than that, I will see you next week from Madikwe. Hopefully some interesting things coming along. Oh, I've got an interesting weekend. Almost forgot. We're going to go, and on Saturday we're doing some conservation work where we're going to be collaring 2 buffalo and notching 4 white rhinos. Hoping black, but we'll see what we get. So that should make for an interesting couple of images with helicopters and rhinos and things, because the rhino poaching is ridiculous. I'm not going to go there. It's just horrible. So we're going to do what we can. Anyway, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, hook it up there. You've got the website address. Have a good weekend. Stay inspired. I will see you guys next time. Enjoy.